Hello and welcome, Cosmic Quantum Travelers. I hope you're doing well. Excuse the delay. I don't really do time, but I play with time. It's never been one of my strong points. And now we have definitely gone quantum. So thank you very much, everyone who's listening and for turning up. So happy LIONSGATE. It's obviously the LIONSGATE. I felt it opened already around the Cosmic New Year. And it's really like all the other portals, what I'm seeing now, they remain open. Okay, so it's not linear anymore. And we now have all the access codes in order to open fully the Lion Stargate and reconnect back to the mother, our mother universe, and the cosmic source to source, and the cosmic consciousness, which we are anchoring now through these massive upgrades that are happening. I mean, the last few weeks have been beyond super intense, and we've definitely been pushed to our limits. Again, it depends also very much on what everybody's job is and mission. Okay, so we don't all have the same experiences. And I often share, or as much as I can from my experience, and it's definitely not all unicorns and rainbows, but from my place, all I can say is that this journey has been horrific, quite frankly. So when I share those parts, it's not from a poor me perspective, but it's from a this is what it is. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. And I also know it helps other people in knowing that they're not alone. And to really gain the comprehension that this is not just love and light, but a balance between the dark and the light, which we're really merging as one, because it's not about us getting rid of, suppressing and pushing the dark shadow parts away, not at all. It's about embracing all of us, all of creation, all of the one. And it's everything. So it's not just the lovely parts and the galactic, royal houses, which we're going to connect with today. But it's very much also the negative alien agenda. It's also those Anunnaki reptilian agendas, because it's just like when we do a DNA test, which I wouldn't recommend, to find out your ancestry. Nobody's just German or English or Irish or American or whatever. We are all things. We have all mixed genetics, and nobody's just one thing. Okay, so we will be gravitating towards certain consciousness fields more than others, but we have to embrace it all in order to alchemize all of these collective shadow aspects in order to return them back to source. So this whole process is all about stripping away all that is false and artificial and inorganic, and really reconnecting with our true self. So it's really all about know thyself. Because when we really know ourselves, no one else's projection is going to rattle us. Okay, so whatever anyone else is doing or not doing, or what they say to us, it's going to be something that is not, taking us down like a deep pit of despair. Now, on that level, I also need to say we have been accessing our core wounds, because we're really going back to the start of the fallen consciousness in order to repair it all. So what we're really experiencing is that we have to feel it all and really dig really deep in order to understand what went wrong, so we can correct it. Because we cannot heal anything that hasn't been acknowledged and hasn't been alchemized and transcended into a higher consciousness. If we suppress anything, that's the issue here, generally speaking. So it's really all about feeling it all. but also about not spraying our shit onto the walls and creating more shitstorms, so to say. So it's really all about balance. Because I was seeing, funnily enough, like a statement, like a little picture headline on YouTube, and it was from the Queen of England, or in relation to Kate Middleton, and that she took on the Queen's motto of don't complain, don't explain. And it was really funny because I understand that's literally a reptilian thought form in a way. But what it also is that, yes, sure, not all the time we want to complain and, have to explain ourselves. But obviously there has to be a recognition, because that statement points to a suppression. And I do know that within the spiritual community, there are programs running that have us like, we need to vibe high. So that actually often makes people think that, oh no, I need to like keep a positive mindset. But this is actually often causing us to suppress that which really needs to be released. So what I've been experiencing is, over the last few weeks, was especially like, it's been triggered everywhere, the core wounds, to really go into them, feel them, purge them, while we also hold the neutral field, so the 0 point field of neutrality and divine love. But we also need to feel what we're feeling, because that will enable us to really see what needs to be corrected and to understand and heal the underlying issue, because it's ultimately a shift in perception that heals, but also time. Because what I've been noticing is that even if I know why people are doing what they're doing, it's still triggering this core wound within me, which is pain, which I've been keeping in my heart. And this is really today's activation, which you're going to do in a little bit, is really fully opening the heart. And that's, for me, what the event is all about. It's a Supernova of the Heart event. This is where our permanent seed God Atom is, in the high heart. And this is really where also our higher self comes in. Our multidimensional integration happens through the heart. And that's also connected to the crystalline core, and what we're doing today to the cosmic heart and the emerald heart network. And this is really going to connect us all, because this is about an intelligence of the heart. It's not a, intellect of the mind. And yes, it's about unification and reconciliation of the heart and mind, because it's not one or the other. It's all one. And that's also the masculine and the feminine unifying, because the masculine is represented by the mind and the heart by the feminine. So we're unifying this all, but the heart is really the most important function within our light body structure that is going to ignite all. And this is also what has been heavily attacked. So what I've been seeing is, and I'm sweating a little, and if I need to go to the toilet at any time, I do apologize, but there's a lot of clearing going on. So basically what I've been seeing is that, I've been aware of my core wounds and what I'm being shown lately, but it's like it had to be re-triggered to go even deeper, to really understand it on a more deeper level, to release it all. And it's held in our cells. So if we think that we need to vibe high and, kind of think that, oh, I shouldn't feel angry, I shouldn't feel frustrated, I shouldn't feel guilt or blame or whatever, I have to say, no, not at all. It's about go right into it. Don't believe it. Don't identify with it as such, although you still need to play out your story, okay, your part and your role within the story of this drama. But at the same time, understand, why is the other person, for example, reacting the way they are. And, it's basically integrating both viewpoints, or all multidimensional viewpoints, through the field, the 0 point field, through the neutrality, through divine love. So it's like, okay, I need to fully own my part, my emotions, my feelings, my thoughts, Then I also try and understand why the other person is doing what they're doing, so I can really go into forgiveness and understanding, because this is just another part of me, another aspect. So we're literally at a higher level all doing this to ourselves. That's the madness here. But we also need to acknowledge the other part. So we can't just go and say, oh yeah, no, and they, they're just, I don't know, having a hard time and lashing out of me because of that. And that is the case. So yes, that's one truth. But then I also need to say, okay, even if that's so, I'm also allowed to have my feelings of feeling, unfairly treated, whatever it may be, to help me heal that, because what's being triggered is core wounds going right back to the start in the fallen consciousness, so we can repair and heal them within all parties. Because what we're doing for ourselves, we're doing for everyone. Okay, so it's not just for the collective, but it's also not just for us. It's both end. And some of us are just doing a lot of the collective work. And we really need to feel it all. Yeah. So I've been feeling in my environment that me owning this, the pain or whatever it may be, and I'm transmitting that in a way of sharing the experience, so people also don't feel alone. Plus, this is not just all rainbows and butterflies, but I'm also seeing that people are then saying, okay, you're kind of feeling sorry for yourself and you should be thinking positive and you should be, kind of changing the tune. And I have to say that there is a time and a place, and there are moments where you do that, and there are moments where you don't complain and you don't explain. But then there are also moments like now, especially last 2 to 3 weeks, where it really needs to come up and out so you understand yourself better and the other party. If you don't go right into it without identifying, without losing yourself in the pit of despair, you can't heal it, because you're not acknowledging it, and what you don't acknowledge cannot be changed. If you don't know what went wrong, we cannot make corrections. And that's really all what this is about. But we need to feel the anger. We need to feel the shame and the guilt and the blame and all of the stuff, whilst we don't identify with it, because we know it's ultimately a story playing out and it's collective. So we're really purifying it through us, whilst we also need to feel our part in it, because that's what's helping us heal. So a lot of the things that came up, it's a lot about the mother wound, really. And this goes back again to the heart. And because we've been heavily attacked by the negative alien agenda, and what a lot of what has been playing out has been AI interference, but also interference through people that are unconscious. And we obviously all have unconscious bits, but, people who are not as versed in spirituality and what's really going on, and even for those that are, it's still very difficult, but who basically have an open field for negative energies to work through them, through their unconscious, and then attack us. And that's been a huge theme for me. And it then made me, and I'm just saying this as an example, because I think some people can relate, where you feel utterly alone and you can't trust anyone anymore. And that closes your heart. It breaks your heart. You feel sometimes stabs in the back of your heart. But ultimately what's happening now is, once you have gained the awareness of what's happening, you're actually using it as a catalyst to break your heart open in order to heal it. And that really happens all the time. But it's the thing is, if we really believe it, as we have done maybe before we, got activated, we deepen into it and we just amplify it. So it's all about the mastery of being able to feel it all, but also holding the balance. So what I often do is I feel it. So for example, my daughter was with me for 2 weeks, which was, and her stepsister, which was quite intense with everything that was going on. And we were all in one room, and you don't have any peace, or, you can't do your thing. Plus I was doing, all the grid work and everything on my own. So, but basically it's, what was I saying? I can't even remember now what I was leading to. Oh yeah. And then when she left, usually because I don't see her all that regularly, which is a whole another issue, it triggers a depression. So whenever she leaves, I get depressed because I don't live with her. I can't figure out how I'm going to have a home here because everything is vastly expensive. I looked into it. Even if I had a normal paying job, it's literally, unless I really do a high stressful sales job again, it's almost impossible to rent anything proper here. So every time, she leaves, I have this whole thing going on. So that already was triggered on Friday. Friday was a very intense day energetically. So I was already releasing it before she even went. But then after she went, I was just bawling, crying. But I had to bring it all up and out because there was a whole lot going on and I couldn't really let it out while she was there. Now, while she was there, you could see the cracks. So it wasn't all great. Energies were intense. I wasn't as happy a mommy as I wanted to be. And that's the core mother wound here, okay? Because I was also coming across a post of the angry mommy and when the mothers are tense and you give out to your children and why that is so. Now there's a huge thing which we need to understand is that the mother principle has highly been attacked and hijacked. And this is why we're getting to the core right now of the mother healing. And we all have this. We all have feminine. We all have mothers. We all have these aspects, okay? And I think we all in some life or another have been a mother. And we're really here to embody the cosmic mother and father principles again as one, as a cosmic Christus Sophia or, androgynous, Christic, diamond, self, whatever the name you want to give it. But basically it's us having to transcend all of these wounds by them being triggered. So even though you might be in despair, what I do then is just thank you, thank you, thank you, because I know this needs to come up and out. And I did a lot of that over the last few weeks, but it has to come up and out. And then, yes, there's the balance. So there are moments where you don't do it if you have a lot of people around you, but you might, still be able to have a few tears here and there, but you might not break out in a whole, but the release of the tears, for example, is healing this at a cellular level. It's a cellular release. So we really have to go into where we haven't felt, because especially around the heart, the feelings, if you think about anxiety and depression, it's held in the heart. And that's from the grief, the sorrow, the sadness of what has been playing out. And rightfully so. And this has to be owned. And it's, for example, in my case, because maybe some others can relate, I had my daughter after I had my activation. So in 2011, I call it activated, because awakening for me, it's part of the awakening, but we're not fully awakened in a sense. Otherwise, we've already ascended. But again, any moment now, it's already in process. But what I'm trying to say is that there was kind of the beginning stages where I still didn't know what was going on really with me. And then obviously throughout her, being young, I was going through this process. And it was so intense. And as we also give birth, there is so much that happens at energetic level that really messes with your light body. Okay, there's so many, all these dark, the lunar connections and just implants, all the rape and torture, because we need to understand we've had many lifetimes. And that's what has happened to the divine feminine principle. The rape, the killing, the stealing of the original source codes, because she holds the blueprint for the cosmic consciousness, so on the different levels, of the planet, at a cosmic level, and within our light bodies as well. And this is really what births all. The Sophia, the feminine principle, is the Holy Trinity within the oneness. So it's the masculine, the feminine, and the Christ child, and that has been birthed now. There have been massive activations over the last week, and even before. We're literally done, but we're still making it happen, as you know me, because everything is this. I was checking in today, and it was really like, you're still making it happen. Nothing is set. So basically, we have to go into the heartbreak of what has happened to the mother principle. And as women, we might be able to relate more deeply, especially if we have children in this lifetime. But again, we are all affected here. And this is helping us heal our heart from all the sorrow, what has happened, because we have to see although there's a higher intelligence and it's a perfect divine plan at a higher level, and it's really just a simulation that we're running here. So it's not really real, but it also needs to be healed in order for us to go back to the start, the Inception Point, where we then can heal it all, which is the original divine blueprints and source codes, which we have now retrieved and fully activating. And it's all very much connected to the GIZA Stargate, also through the LIONSGATE, because that's where a lot of the heart energies are held. And that's also where the interference has really happened. So the AI net is very much anchored there. It's the astral layers. And that's what we're going to tap into today, and really helping us heal our heart through a deeper understanding and a deeper forgiveness. But I found even when I understand other people, I still need to work through my energy, which is not just mine, it's very collective, in order to transcend it on behalf of everyone. So we can't just say, I should be, because for example, as a child, I was sexually molested, and for years I never told anyone. I forgot it for many years, because that's what you do with trauma. That's the forgetfulness here, okay? That's the issue, the suppression, the trauma. But that's where our memories lie. But then when I remembered again, and the whole Me Too thing came up, I did one little post of Me Too, didn't give any details. But basically what I found is that because it's so rife in society, and because I wasn't, raped as such, it was just a molestation, it's not that bad. Everybody has it. So I never really addressed it until many years later. And that's what we're kind of working with here. It's like not telling ourselves, because it's gaslighting yourself. If you like, and other people do this plenty. So don't gaslight yourself that you shouldn't be feeling something. You shouldn't be angry, because that's all spiritual programming that went wrong. The inversions of like, you should just vibe high. How can you vibe high? By clearing all the shit that doesn't make you vibe high. So you need to go into it, and you need to clear it and release it, however long it takes. It takes as long as it takes. But if you keep suppressing it in order to make it, and we've all done this to a certain degree, and it's really all one, it's a layer after layer after layer, but we can't heal it. So the acknowledgement is really, really big. And this is what we're really healing here. Right now, is the heart. It's connected to the GIZA Stargate. It's connected to us connecting to our mother universe and to that principle again. And really unifying all within and clearing out any remaining separation, which we've already pretty much done yesterday at higher level. Whenever I share something, that's what's coming in at a higher level energetically, and then it rolls out, okay? And this is beyond time. So I'm not going to give any number of days or hours or weeks of how long this is going to take, because we've gone super quantum. And every time I see anyone talking about days and times, yes, we have obviously, there are certain trigger points, trigger dates, constellations, and so forth, and that help us amplify, but ultimately this is beyond time. It happens in no time, it already has happened. We are already ascended, and that's what we are merging with now. And yes, it's also a linear process, and we have to peel back all those layers and clear all that's preventing us. But ultimately, it's us about really connecting with, I don't know what I was saying. Now, sorry if that happens. It's a lot of high frequency coming in, headaches, the third eye, our whole galactivations, back of the head, side, the third eye. And really what it is also the 11th and 12th stargates activating. So it's really what's happening is us connecting our pineal to the soul star through the crown. So this is really what's being opened up and cleared up right now, because ever since the second that we had on the 2nd of August, we had the axial tilt, the artificial axial tilt, which is the vertical column within the earth, but we are also connected to that. So we have, the same architecture as the earth, like micro, macro. That has been corrected because as some may know, there has been an axial tilt into some planets as well as Earth. So Earth's is 23.5 or was 23.5 degrees. So instead of, kind of you have the Earth and you have an axis here and axis there. So this is the staff, that's the vertical line. And these are the rod codes. The vertical line are the feminine codes. The rod codes are the masculine codes. Okay. And they meet in a high heart. And that's also how your Merkaba connects. And that's also happening within the planetary body. And GIZA is the point within the heart at the planetary level. So we really need to heal and activate this in order to be able to connect to the higher stargates and gateways, and all of your main chakras, they're all stargates. So we're really opening them up to be able to, which has now happened, also through the, oh my God, I'm sorry, I'm losing it. Such high energies. But it's really what's connecting us with source, because with the axial tilt, what had happened before is that they used this in order to, or that was created in order for us to feed the life force energy, the prana, into a phantom matrix. So this is now corrected. So we are now fully aligned with our true north, which is Andromeda. And then through that, we have a passageway through the Aurora host, which is the 7 higher heavens, to Lyra, which is also known as Aramantina, Ascension Earth. It's basically 12D Earth frequencies, okay? And that's really where all connects back to. So this is now fully reconnected, and this is what's going to allow us to fully activate the GIZA Stargate and trigger the heart healing, because that's what I'm seeing. That's really what's happening at the moment. And that's also why we've been going through so much heart healing and, again, connected with the mother. So now that the dragons have fully risen, we are ready to awaken our royal lion self, the royal houses, our original cosmic heritage. And that's very much connected to that. And that's also the Holy Trinity that is held here as energetically. And that's how we are really unifying this at the moment, of bringing the masculine, the feminine together in divine union, birthing the divine child. And that's what's been happening over the last week, and really completing now. And all sense of interference, which is really the separation playing out, is fully dissolving. The AI net is almost fully gone. Massive shifts over the last week. And what else happened? I'm trying to see. So first of all, thank you so much for those that were part of the last activation on the 22nd of July, Awakening Inner Dragon, because what we set out to do was bring back our remembering and shift the magnetic field and ozone layer. And if you've seen my page on Facebook, at least, you will see that the magnetic field is super weakened and keeps breaking open and collapsing on a daily basis, basically now. So any moment now, because as an explanation, we don't know, the magnetic field has been artificially induced, and it's really what's keeping us also locked in density. And it's part of the AI net and the quarantine layer. And it's also part of the ozone layer is also part of that. So when we think about chemtrails and so forth. So if you think about what have been taught to us, such as that magnetic or like a pole shift and flip is catastrophic, you have to question the validity of this, as with anything else, okay? Whether this is true or not. Because why do you believe what you believe? Because they told you so, and you believed it. So at very least question it. What I see is literally bringing us back to where we're supposed to be. It's part of getting rid of the reversals. And because we have been flipped, the world is upside down. And what I'm seeing is, yes, the poles are flipping. Because we're upside down. So north is south and south is north. And that's what's really connecting us back to our true north. And it's helping us to fully align with source. And that's what we're going to do today, to bring this to a conclusion. And the massive heart healing is very much part of this. And this is also connected to the crystalline core. because that's part of the magnetic shift that's happening. And yeah, so this is really part of the final purification and the crescendo of energies that is now bringing about the final event. I was asked early on, when is it going to happen? I mean, often we get to hear this. Ultimately, again, it has already happened. It's a frequency we align with, and it happens outside of time. It's divine timing, quite literally. And we need to transcend time, space, and gravity, because that's part of the third dimensional perceptions and belief system and matrix constructs. And if we want to take down and dissolve the matrix, what we really have to focus on is self-love and fearlessness. And it's really very much interconnected. So as I've been sharing many times, and today and over the last few days, it's about just being your true self. Be your true, real you, however that might come across, because that's the frequency of truth. It's where I'm coming from. I might not say everything right. I might not get everything right. But my intention is pure. And that frequency is being transmitted, because the transmission is beyond just the words that are being said here. There's a lot more that goes on, and with the activation as well. So it's not all that I'm saying. There's a lot more that happens, and that happens with anyone talking to you. That's why it's so important to really tune into the frequencies that are being transmitted. And the same for if you don't speak the language or can't understand every word I say. Go beyond the words. Go beyond form. Go beyond the linear. Because this is energy, frequency, and vibration. And that's how really everything shifts. It's not through us trying to sort it out in our minds and trying to understand every little bit. Of course, we want to do that as well. But ultimately, we're going beyond all of this. Because again, when we bring in language, we bring in separation. You, me, them, us, past, present, future, all of the stuff. So new communication also through the Emerald Heart Grid network, which is really us connecting to a cosmic Emerald Heart network and communication system, is very much telepathic. And how I perceive many messages is like a picture with a whole data load. And that's how we're going to communicate mostly going forward, because that causes a lot less confusion and miscommunication. Because a lot of what we're seeing, what's happening is miscommunication between egos. And it's, everybody, or like a lot of people, just cannot think clearly, because we've been so heavily inundated by mind control and programming that it's very hard for people to, step away from that. And as this all dissolves, it's like they don't even know themselves. So it's like, this kind of shell and mask, they're all falling off, but it's like, oh, okay, who am I now? But obviously we are the one true self, so do not worry too much about them, because we're all doing this together, okay? But it's important to understand that, really forgive them because they don't know what they're doing, because they literally do not know what they're doing. Because if people would really know, you would do better in the sense of like, be responsible and accountable for your creations and realities. But because we've been so programmed into being a victim and thinking reality is just happening to us and we don't have power or control over it, it's a lot to transcend. So let's hold space, whilst we also need to really kind of protect ourselves whilst everybody's going through the motions. So I had to do this where, okay, I understand everyone, but I really need to keep my field clear right now, because people are not just getting it at a level where I need them to get it in order for me to feel safe and not fear that I'm going to be attacked any moment now. And we really need to understand why we're being attacked, because the higher our purpose, the more we will be targeted. And I can sing a few songs about that one. And it's very highly isolating, but then we also need to see, because this is what it's helping me now, going really, really deep within. Although I already know what I was doing, it's kind of, I'm getting it more now of why this is happening. And it's like, okay, I really get it. It's not easy and I need to fully feel it. But then you can transcend it, and then you just know, okay, this is why it happens. And if anyone, kind of does this, it's definitely not personal, although it kind of seems to be, but that's how we transcend it. So I hope that makes sense. Let me have a quick look here before I keep on babbling in the chat. I hope you're all doing well. I'm always so good with the chat when I'm live because I'm like, meh. As you can see, I already forgot a couple of times what I was talking about. Yeah, definitely glitches happening, quantum leaps. And the thing is, our expectation sometimes, for example, when I share something of separation, yesterday is gone and the INET is going down and the multidimensional field is wide open, so really the organic creatrix field. And then people expect in that moment for everything to change. And yeah, we are looking forward to a moment where everything is very tangibly changed, but I keep having those moments, it keeps happening. And those of us who do see beyond what is visible, they do feel, most of all, the shifts happening at a deep inner level. And that's how we really shift to realities in turn. It's through deep inner change. It's not for us trying to change the outside realities. We're doing it from the inside out. Because we literally hold the keys and codes for New Earth within our DNA that are unlocking, also through the help of DMT, the organic Ascension realities in our reality, because they're always being projected out from within us. The DNA is our film strip. And so far, we haven't had a lot of it activated. But what I'm seeing now is all about to come flooding in. We've already had increments, and that's also to let us get used to it, because just imagine all of this, what we've been through happening in one moment. You literally would be frightened dead. So we do need to do this in increments, but I do see we are at a place now where it can all come flooding back, all of our memories of who we really are, our true tribal records, so the history of humanity and also the cosmic levels. And that's what's activating the true organic Ascension realities. It's not us focusing on fallen timelines. That's how we keep recreating them. It's important to understand them, and there's a time and place in our process where we do that. But people who already know, have processed and integrated those enough and understand the higher reason behind it, why it had to play out, they can then transcend it fully. Because the way I've been shown is why we're even in this matrix is because we have literally put ourselves there, although it appears to us as if, negative aliens came in and invaded and hijacked us, but ultimately it's co-creation of the one consciousness in order for us to learn the lessons. And I can also see we're literally doing this whilst having a headset on and, projecting this out. It's like the lowest, densest artificial reality there could be, in a sense. That's why it's not real. It's been artificially induced, they're artificial overlays. So what we have is an organic platform, and we have an artificial overlay, and then at the moment we're also going from above. So we're really like clearing out the artificial net, the AI net, from above and below. And we can also feel this within our own bodies, because we have all this held in our own morphogenetic field. That the energies, and we can see this also with the sun data, where there's energy coming from both sides, not just the sun, but also the opposite way. And that's happening with our body, where we have energy and plasmas releasing from the core of the earth now, especially since the repair of the axial tilt, because now a lot more, especially aurora plasmas, can come into the planet and connect also with the core of the earth. And this is also happening with our body, where we have it from above and below. And that's also happening in our central column, because we need to clear this, because it hasn't been able. Our Kundalini has been inverted, and and goes beyond Kundalini. And the energy hasn't been able to run through. So we haven't been able to clear the central column. We haven't been able to clear our spinal energies and chakras and all of that stuff, because the energy couldn't run through properly. So this is why this is so intense. And that's also the hot and cold and the sweating that we're experiencing. The hot is often burning off all the density, and then the cold are the crystalline activations. So the hot is kind of burning off all the crap, and the cold is activating the good stuff. Now, it doesn't mean that, you can't activate the good stuff if you're not feeling cold, kind of thing, all right? But just to explain also why the hot and cold, it's a lot down to the plasmas flooding in, okay? So that's why we felt a lot of that over the last week. Yeah, abundance codes came in also with the last activation. And again, these are things where we do feel immediate impacts, but then also clearings, and it takes a little while sometimes for them to fully anchor. Because with any activation and within the ascension process, expansion, contraction, so often, like for example on the 3rd, after a difficult time, I had a conversation with a soul family member that really helped me, and I can really recommend this. If you feel stuck, try and talk to someone that really gets you on some energetic level, so you can kind of process it and move on. Because I was kind of stuck in a mental loop, and I think we've been all experiencing this for a certain degree. But anyway, after that conversation, I then on the 3rd was feeling like, wow, everything just changed. And for the first time, I cannot tell you, and I think forever, I felt fully grounded in my body. I felt actually happy. I had no anxiety and depression. And my daughter was there, and I told her I was so happy. Well, that changed later on in the evening. But that gives me a glimpse, but I have to say those glimpses of the states of embodiments have been throughout my journey, very brief, with a lot of shit shifting. So I just want to make it very clear for anyone who's been going through the same, okay, just know you're doing this, because really also on behalf of the collective, because a lot of people are still suppressing, and some of us are literally like the salt of the earth. We're very much connected to the gray lines, and we literally hold the blueprints for the alchemy body, for androgynous body, the crystal Sophia in our field. And we all do this, okay? Just some more than others, all right? And there's just a lot of clearing to do. And yeah, I mean, that's really all there is to it. But all I can say is that my journey overall has been absolutely horrific, and I haven't enjoyed many days. I don't have many days where I actually feel what some people would call high vibe, but I know I have a super high frequency. So that's why I just wanted to transmit. If people think they're doing something wrong because things are not happening for them, or because they constantly feel shit and tired and achy, okay, it's because you have a higher mission. All right. Just because you don't have, the abundance coming through yet, and you're living like me or whatever else is happening, and it just continues to be shit so far, it doesn't mean you're doing anything wrong. It really doesn't. Okay. That's again spiritual programming, the same for you shouldn't feel angry, you shouldn't feel anything, not at all. You, first of all, need to obviously see for yourself why it's happening, to understand your core lessons, to understand who you are and why it's happening. But I just want to say that it's really not the case. Because whenever I see any spiritual leaders out there that seem to have it all figured out and it's all glitz and glamour, and I just wonder, something is a little bit weird here, as in, why don't they have any interference going on? Because it's just, I mean, if you really understand the drama of what's going on, yes, you will be heavily attacked. That's what all of this is about, to try and not make you activate, to try and keep you down, to try and keep your heart down, closed up, and close it off. Because they know this is how we integrate our multidimensional selves. So just know when something is happening in your life where, you feel like attacked and your heart is like kind of breaking open, it's ultimately serving you, but just don't attach and identify with it to the level where you're believing that you're a bad person or people don't love you, where you might need to feel that. You then also see, okay, this is just a story playing out, and I'm transcending it, but I can only transcend it if I really feel it, if that makes sense. Yeah, really horrific. I mean, for me, it's been really crap. I can't, yeah, crazy, brutal. And I mean, obviously those moments where everything is great and we have these massive expansions, that's what keeps us going. But again, some are here to be more light anchors and spread the light, and just have a different disposition. I most of the time actually walk around with a sour face on me because I have so much density to carry. But I know it's not just me, okay? It's not because I'm so dense or negative. It really isn't. It's because we're carrying the shit on behalf of the whole collective. And there are so many people who are not dealing with their crap, which is one of the things I've been transcending, my frustration and anger about that. And that needs to be owned. Because, yeah, if we would all own our crap, this is done. And that's the issue, the suppression. That's why feeling it is the only way. And some of us just have done a master's in it. And that's why we're here and we dig into the shit and we keep shifting it. But we're also kind of done here now, because now we've done enough. We are done. And now responsibility and accountability given back to everyone. That's true divine love. And that's how we heal all. But we had to get us to this point because people just could not deal, quite frankly. And those are the parts of us that can't deal. Because again, we all had suppressed parts of us, as I said, I've noticed. I know all of these parts that have been clearing over the last few weeks, but I obviously had to go deeper. And it just is what it is. So all we can do is don't resist it, keep flowing with it, let it flow through and out of you. Don't attach to it, don't identify with it, but you're also sorting out your part of the story, your role, so you can heal your multidimensional self as part of the all, your part of the puzzle. Okay, and you can't do this if you don't acknowledge it and you're telling yourself you shouldn't be this or shouldn't be that. And yeah, that's for me spiritual bypassing, quite frankly. So what's happening now is really us triggering the event for our own heart awakening. And that only happens if you can really feel and let come up the grief and the sadness and the loss. Okay, and all of that stuff that's held here. Because how do we embody the divine love frequency that we need in order to ascend, which we all know? It's not by faking it. It's by releasing, clearing all that's not that. So we can't fake it. We can't fake any frequency, nothing. There's nothing about lip service here and pretending. It just doesn't work. You can't cheat yourself. You can't cheat source. Pretending no. That's why the purity and truth is what cuts through all the bullshit. Because if you think about it, the false matrix is based on lies, manipulations, untruths. So how do you counteract it? By the frequency of truth, whatever that means. And that means that your natural self, without, flying all over the place and spraying your shit on the walls. So it takes mental, emotional discipline, but you need to also feel it and express it, but in a balanced way as possible. And then obviously transcending anger or whatever it may be, just do it in your own space if you still have a lot of pent up energy, such as screaming, maybe in a pillow or, out in the woods and stomping and chopping wood, whatever it may be, to get it up and out. Don't let it sit there. Don't tell yourself you shouldn't be feeling it because, I can't do any better. Whilst that is true, you also need to feel your stuff. Otherwise, you can't let it go and heal it. Now, I think I've repeated myself probably several times. So, because this is such an important part right now. It really is. Because I keep getting from my environment and it's like, everybody's suppressing, so they're telling you to suppress it. So basically the multidimensional merge has now been completed. That started on the 21st of December 2020, the solstice that I was shown. It's really merging all dimensions, realities, and timelines as one. And that's equal to our multidimensional self. So what was all held in different identity stations is now unifying as one consciousness. And the same with the organic creatrix field. That's why I say it's not even 5D, it's not even 7D, although it will be most comparable to a 7D experience. But ultimately, it will depend on your frequency that can also go up and down of what kind of levels of realities you will be able to access. Okay, so again, nothing's ever set here. You need to keep holding the frequency because that's literally what went wrong. We dropped. That's the fallen consciousness. It's a fallen frequency. So that's what we will always have to be aware of. And there's a massive timeline collapse. I mean, obviously for the longest time, but it just amplifies and crescendo right now. anything artificial, inorganic. I literally have got no idea what's happening out there. I'm happy with that. I know for a little while when the Georgia Guidestones went down, I was making a little list for a day or two of what was happening, but then I quickly realized it's like, because it's this whole artificial intelligence part of it as well, that you can hardly ever verify information unless you have a person right there in the front line, because you can't trust the media or anything that's being transmitted on that level. And there's so much misinformation on purpose. So much, especially right now. So I'm really just kind of keeping away from it, because if we try and find proof within the outside world, we're not really focused within. So I quickly kind of let that drop. So I just was guided to mention that, because we're not going to win this by keep looking outside for, oh yeah, now it's happening. It really is happening inside. It's not going to be televised as such. I've never seen any disclosure happening in regards to mass disclosure on televisions and phones. No, this isn't a disclosure that happens within, from the inside out. And it's very personal as well as collective. And it's a truth that is everlasting and that you cannot question, because you're coming up with your own truth. So it's literally perfect. And the key to dissolving the artificial matrix is self-love and fearlessness. Quite frankly, that's the ultimate recipe. That's also how we get rid of anything artificial, is really self-love. And I've transmitted that before. So with the artificial axial tilt now corrected, we are also fully aligned, again, with Source and Andromeda and Lyra. And that's really also helping us and the planet to accelerate the re-encryption of physical matter, so the elementals. And also with the shift in the magnetic field, what's happening as this is totally weakened, that more cosmic rays can come in. And again, you see what they told us, avoid the sun, it's going to cause cancer, it's going to do this and that. Obviously, most of us know that the sun is literally bringing us the light codes. It's life. The sun is the representation of Source. We should not shy away from that, of course, all within balance, but that it's really, really good for us. Okay, so again, question everything that you think is one way. Why do you believe what you believe? Because somebody has told you so. So since the 31st of July also, we have the final massive purge of all that's artificial, inorganic, and false, the ARNet, magnetic field, pole shift, and ozone layers. Okay, and that's what we're going to lock in and complete today. And on the 28th of July, we had the organic crystalline operating system and the via blueprints are now fully online and taking over, overwriting the old. So no more Groundhog Day. All right, I think we can feel it. The old ways, we're just not accepting them anymore. We have 360 degree vision, crystal clear vision now. And that makes us pick up on anyone who's manipulating false lies very quickly now. Because most of us always had this, but it's even more extreme right now. We just cannot tolerate and allow it anymore. And obviously the same is for us as well. So it's really the new blueprints fully taking over and the old is just being overwritten and deleted so quickly now, really. And this is also activating our diamond avatar and triple diamond sun body, which is the 72 strands of triple helix DNA. And that's really the indigo 4 type. And it's the also part of the, it doesn't change anything about the divine template of the 144, which are supermanic strands, plus 3 as 1. Now the plus 3 as 1 is really the 13 signet. So it's also when we see the 12-dimensional layers, and then we have 13, 14, 15, which before have been the primal sound and light fields, which are now being merged with the higher dimensional levels. And this is really unifying us with the Rishi consciousness as we are in form. So this is basically the Elohim, Elohai consciousness. So the ascended master level consciousness that we are now accessing, the forerunners who have the necessary DNA strands and who have activated enough and who are kind of, holding that template. But it also means we have a lot more to clear. So just know if you're having a really hard time, it's really heavy, you are very likely having a lot more DNA strands. So the normal divine human template would be 12-strand DNA, which is now 13, 14, 15 also. But beyond that, we have 24, 48, and now, as I've been shown, 72. And it's a triple helix DNA, which is also very resonant with the Trinity, with the tri-wave that we're anchoring. And before we had the bipolar, the binary or bi-wave current running in the grids and for our bodies, which is equivalent to the reversals. And that's really what has kept us locked in a lower consciousness and the lower dimensional fields. So that's all dissolving now. And we are fully able to access the higher dimensional, multidimensional strands. And as I said, since yesterday, it's really all open and has all merged. I can feel a big shift, but it's still, again, trickling through. Okay. So no time, have patience, depending also on what they have already cleared in their field. This is again an inside job. As much as it is also collective, it is both and, okay? So we're doing this on behalf of all to also get us out of the artificial matrix. So then people have a real choice to choose if they want to do the whole ascension journey up to the higher, levels. But we're really getting everyone out of the artificial matrix. But then people still need to do their own work once they know better now, okay? Because again, the truth is arising from within, finally, for us all. So I talked about the axial tilt on the 2nd of August. Just checking. And a split also between so there was a damage of the metagalactic core, also connected to the 8th and 9th Stargate. And this has been fully repaired now. So we can now, in the activation, use the passageway to Andromeda from GIZA all the way back to Lion Source, okay? To reconnect really the heart center to Source, the planetary and our heart center to Source, and fully activate our Ascension and get us out of this clown show and nightmare, quite frankly. So, and the 0 point is really helping us then. But as I said, the way I've been experiencing it is very much like I need to feel it. Then you go back to neutrality when it gets a bit too much. You don't need to just sit there for hours. You just do a little bit of whatever releasing. And then if it gets too much and you need to get yourself out of it, I don't know, go for a walk or, have a coffee, watch something to take your mind off it and then go back, okay? As and when it's ready. And again, you do like your perspective, fully acknowledging it, fully trying to understand where they're coming from, and then you neutralize it within a 0 point field of Source, but you still have your perspective, okay? And ultimately, this is all inbuilt. There is no right or wrong, or there is no compartmentalized system that gives you an answer on how to behave in every moment. You need to figure this out for yourself, through your intuition, for your own inner inbuilt guidance system, because multidimensional embodiment is quantum. So one moment this might be right, the next moment this is the right thing for you to do. It doesn't really, comply. For example, I've been before saying, I would eat meat sometimes, especially when energies are very intense. But then for a while I was like, okay, no, I need to go vegetarian. I'm not going to eat meat anymore for, spiritual consciousness purposes, because I do love animals. But lately I had to go back to meat. I just had to. I was like, okay, I need to kill someone if I don't eat some meat now. And I also know that I'm transcending this. I don't judge it. I don't judge any of it, because my body has a higher intelligence that is quantum, and it goes beyond logic. If your body needs a beer in that moment, or whatever it might be, just go with it. Obviously, everything within balance, okay? And you need to know your own limits and what's good for you or not. And everybody is different. And what works for me might not work for you, especially when it comes to physical stuff, just like food allergies or intolerances and so forth, okay? So I just want to say this because there is not one, when people say, oh, you should just eat organic or raw or this and this, otherwise you won't make it or you have big problems. I'm sorry, I don't live like this at all. You need to figure this out for yourself. This is sovereignty, not somebody else telling you what is right and what's wrong. Because what's right one moment is not right the next. It's the same as I told us eggs or milk or whatever is good, or breastfeeding is bad for us, or the children, you know what I mean. I mean, obviously that's bad science, but you get me. Okay, one very quick break. I just need 1 minute. Sorry, guys. Thank you. Need some water for sure. So we have KP5, I think, when I looked before we went online. Massive headaches as well. Had to take something to be able to come on. And it's really all also helping us up, helping us to open up our third eye right now in order to also be able to, for the energy to come through our crown, the third eye, and connect to our heart. So as we know, a lot of this, but I always say any kind of physical ailments are really, it's all ascension. Ultimately, you could all put this under ascension symptoms, which obviously doesn't mean that you should not, look after yourself or get it attended to. But I see illness or dis-ease as a mental emotional imbalance, that if that is not resolved, it will cause density within your body and blocks, and that then develop a physical ailment, which also obviously can be karmic, but that is mostly the case. So that's where we can often, work on. And this is also why our own body is the highest intelligence, as we're now fully activating this. The crystalline activations that have been coming online and DNA activations, absolutely massive yesterday as well. We're burning off so much density and bad data in our DNA. I was burning up. But, it's all for the better because it all needs to go, go, go. So just know it for what it is. So instead of thinking you're sick and you're kind of feeding that bad programming that thinks that there's something wrong with you, that you need to, go to the doctor for, again, that may be sometimes the case that that's necessary. But I just say generally, for a cold or, certain things, instead of thinking that you're just really sick, ultimately it's a frequency light upgrade, all of this. So, I mean, I've had pains for years. There was a running joke in my house when I was still living with my ex and my daughter that, just tell us when you want to go to a hospital, because it was literally every day something else. And, it still is most of the time, but I just know what it is because also it's always something different. Watermelon. I love watermelon. Enjoy that. Someone is saying they're eating watermelon. One of the best foods, I have to say. And we do need to drink a lot of water because what's happened as well is, if you look at the solar flare chart, we don't have any big solar flares now for a few days, but it's constantly at just below the sea level most of the time. And it's just like this. And I can see that the chart is showing that we are being ionized because the magnetosphere is so thin. We're now getting all these codes through, so it doesn't even take any more big flares. If you can remember the last few months, we had these big flares and all this solar activity that has been helping us wear down the magnetic field and getting us more codes in. So again, it's very much a good thing as I see it. I think I said most of it. Does anyone have any questions? Oh, yeah, I have one point I'm also going to do. Protection. Now, some people think that protection, the energy of protection, is what draws kind of something to protect against towards you. Now, but that may be, there is a point to that. But what I'm being shown is it's the frequency we come from. So it's like if you go into a car and you put your seatbelt on because you know there might be an accident. It's just what can happen. And you don't sit in a car and say, oh my God, an accident is going to happen. I'm going to put my seatbelt on and I'm going to be afraid and somebody's going to come and hit me. That will then be very likely. But there's another thing of just, okay, I'm going to sit in my car because, it's just one of the things I do in order to, in case something happens, I know I'm, I should be protected. Although sometimes it can be obviously a hindrance. But you get me. So it's from the perspective of keeping a sovereign energetic field, because especially the last 2 weeks, it's been intense because of obviously where we're at and depending also who we are. The attacks have been numerous and really, really full on. So I have not really had too many problems with that over the last many months, but like these last few weeks have been, you definitely can feel they're giving it all at an electromagnetic frequency interference level. So what I do is, and I've said this before, I just want to share this quickly for anyone who that might be helpful for, although I'm sure we all have our own tools. I have to say, much of the protection is about the frequency where you come from if you believe that you're actually really protected. Okay, so it has a lot to do with consciousness. It also has to do with how much of your light body you have already healed. Ultimately, in order to be totally invincible, you just need to have a fully sovereign healed light body, which we are, a lot of us are basically almost there. But until then, and especially now, I would very much recommend to put some, throughout the day, keep clearing your energy field, keep, strengthening it, keep amplifying it. I do it by breathing into my heart center. I imagine there is a iridescent rainbow plasma ball, and I hold it for a moment. Those who've done my activations know this, and then I breathe it out into my energy field. And often whilst I do this, I already do the command of purify, clear, heal, balance, harmonize, upgrade my whole morphogenetic field to the highest divine blueprint available in this now moment. Or I say clear, remove, release, neutralize any lower negative artificial frequencies, energies, entities, sound and light, fields, tones and sounds, artificial, limited, inverted thought forms, belief systems, programming. Clear, remove, release. And of course, all of this, anything, isn't just happening in one moment in time, but layer after layer after layer. Okay, but I do this every day for many years, but it does work. Okay, I found my own way of doing this. If people think this needs to be really complicated and you need to do a certain technique, and there's just one way of doing it, I don't see that. Again, what I teach or transmit is very much from my own experience. Okay, what I've tested out and what works for me. Again, take what resonates, leave the rest. What works for me might not work for you. Okay, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with techniques. I'm just saying that it's not going to be the bulletproof vest you're hoping for if the frequency isn't there. Okay, and some techniques might not be as helpful as you may think they are. Anyway, I believe there are many different ways to go about it, and ultimately it's your frequency, and it's also like some days we are just more, where it's harder to do this because we are having a weaker field. Let's say we're processing a lot or we're going through a lot of clearing, it's harder. But it doesn't mean, for example, if you think that, the negative aliens are being fed by loosh, so negative energy like fear, shame, guilt, anger, all of this. And, that's the spiritual programming that we shouldn't be feeling this in order not to feed them. That's not quite it. The way I do it, I just transmit it all back to source. So I do not feed, the vampires. I do it very alchemically. I know what I'm doing. I can feel it without perpetuating it or sending it out to other places or people or things, but I do it back to source, okay, for re-encryption. And for me, that works. Now, I also do what's similar to the 12T shielding technique, which for me is either I put myself into the aurora orb body, which is like a aurora plasma bubble around you, which is also your travel vehicle, which you might harbor inside. So I either travel myself, or I send a ball of light or a macabre star. Again, it depends sometimes on the day. There is not one specific way I always do it, and that's just it. Okay, I do variate myself, and that comes from experience. That you acquire different ways and tools and techniques of doing it, and then also to keep it a little bit fresh, you like to change it up a little bit, because otherwise it becomes too monotonous and you're not actually fully consciously part of what you're doing. All right, so again, it's a frequency, and you believing that you actually have a really sovereign field, and but also not pretending it, but really feeling it. Okay, so I would send a star down to my heart, and then from the heart into the crystalline core through breaths. Again, those who've done my activations notice a little bit. Through the crystalline core, I breathe it back up, just 30 centimeters beneath my feet. I open it up into a big platform. I imagine it to be diamond white rainbow plasma light, very beautiful iridescent. And then it goes all the way up. So it's basically diamond white light, but diamond white light always has some rainbow to it. So it's really encompassing all the higher dimensional frequencies all the way back to the God worlds. Okay, it's a pure source light, all the dimensional frequency bands. And then with the next breath, I then breathe it up, and I connect through the stargates, as I will do in the activation. But you can also just say all the way back up to source. Then you connect with source for a moment. At least that's what I do, to really tune into that frequency, and then draw it all back around me again, like a big white column of light, however big you want to make it, through the core of the earth, out through the center, back out, so all the way through earth and out into deep space. Okay, and you can also make this as big as you want to. Also, when I do energy work, okay, I do most of it from my home. I do not need to travel in order to tap into sites, although that is definitely fun, and I would like to do that, but ultimately we don't need to. And you also can work at, for example, a planetary level. Okay, you're the planet. And when you're doing your energy work and you're clearing, you're as big as the planet, and you're doing planetary work. Now, I would recommend be very careful, as in then you are transmuting and clearing a lot more stuff. I sometimes do it also at cosmic level, or a lot. So we can go as big as we really want to, because I was reading something about someone saying, and it's definitely a valid point of an experience, someone being, an everyday person and doing a good deed, and how we can make a change in the world. Okay, because what they're saying is that, yeah, we might not be able to stop wars or, kind of change the world and end hunger and whatever, but, we can be that change every day. Whether it's absolutely true, and I would highly recommend it, that's what I live for. We can end all wars. We can end hunger. And it's exactly what we're here for. And only if we really believe it can we do that. Because you are everything. If you are fully connected with the Godhead, with the Holy Trinity within you, with all that is, you have merged at one with Source, you are everything. You are everything and all of it. Nothing lies outside of you. Nothing. You are all the things. You are the whole omniverse. And that's how powerful you are. And it's a really, 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 really important point. Because only when you truly believe it, and again, we can't force it or fake it, it's a little, it's about also reaching the acquired frequency and consciousness out all the limiting belief systems and conditioning that you've been, burdened with, to get to that place where you're all things and literally you are here to change the world, quite literally. And I know we all know this to a certain extent, but I'm just saying this also to anchor this a little bit more deeply. And I know, again, where I'm coming from is the frequency where I'm embodying that knowing that gets transmitted through my words. So I know my words are highly powerful. And again, this is everyone's, but it's kind of my heightened gift is writing and speaking, and it literally manifests. And that's why I do a lot of what I do and write so much and share so much, because I know it anchors it in the field and it really activates people. And I notice for many people giving me feedback after reading a post, and I can feel activations happening in their body, because that's literally my intention of being the purest vessel to transmit these words that come with a whole energetic frequency and activation. And again, we all do this, okay? It's just how aware are we? Is this our kind of main, kind of gift or whatever it may be? But again, we all do this, all right? Writing, for example, is a very, very powerful tool. Yeah, what we've also been clearing has been curses with special focus on the Grail and Rose lines and the Christic Christ lineages, okay? Because this is really the black magic, which will also the black magic grids, which we've been already clearing a lot of, but I feel really the GIZA plateau is the deciding factor now to fully bring this all down. We have been, when you, for example, think, oh, why is nothing working out, blah, blah, blah. We have been fucked with so much. I cannot even begin to tell you. The more I see, the more I know we have been really heavily manipulated and interfered with. And again, it depends on each person's experience and what they hear for the levels of that happening, okay? But just know that if things haven't been manifesting for you, this has been for that reason, really. And also, we're not supposed to be really successful in the artificial matrix. There is no fulfillment here. There is just temporary, kind of perks within the experience in a sense, but I don't really believe we're supposed to be fully functional, successful, and happy here as such, although please, obviously be that. But what I'm saying is it's kind of because the matrix or the realities are so inverted, we would need to be able to kind of, we would need to be aligned with the programming in order to make it, you know what I mean? So if we want to break for the programming, we kind of have to go against everything that's kind of promising us success in this reality. But it's all it's very low value, that kind of success, because what we're looking at is the worth of the soul, the worth of what we're here to bring. And it's not connected to money or material things or who we think we are, not at all. Okay, it's the purity of our heart and the frequency we anchor here. That's how we change worlds. And that's what's shifting now, where you will see this will have so much more worth, because where we are going, you can't take any of the script with you as such. It's the same with kind of death, because we are going through death of the old artificial realities, materialism, and this, attachment to form, fully transcending that to know that what really counts is your soul, your spirit, and you fully embodied, because, this life, or at least how it's been so far, is pretty short, and then comes the next one. So this is just a very brief journey in the overall equation of things. So it doesn't really matter how much money you've earned and so forth at the end of your life. It means of like what kind of frequency and consciousness you're embodying to know where you're going to go next. Because if you've been a bad person, or you made maybe good money, the next journey might not be so fun. So just a little reminder there, okay? If you feel bogged down by not having success, it's like almost a good sign, because you're not supposed to, or it's not conducive. This reality is not conducive for it. It's been hardwired to make us feel anxiety and depression and all these other horrible things in order to feed the old energy siphoning system. So just keep remembering that, okay? And all of that comes basically down to us believing in ourselves and no longer giving our power away. And we do this by believing in our inner knowing and insights instead of believing someone else knows more than us. Okay, myself included. Always question everything I say, always take it further. No truth is ever said, especially now we need to keep, over the last 2 weeks, especially last week, there's been a lot of multidimensional merging that then completed yesterday in order to unify all these different layers of truth. But that also means that you can feel quite mad because one moment you think this is right, the next moment that is right, because you're going through different layers of densities and different layers of truth. Okay, that's why higher multidimensional living is not black and white. It's not compartmentalized whatsoever. It's multidimensional. It's very fluid. It's very quantum. Okay, the rules don't apply here at all. That's why your inner navigational, inner guidance system is paramount. So you don't get confused because, again, the old programming is totally irrelevant now. Now, let me just see if there are any questions. Otherwise, we activation now. I think. If anyone has a question I want to ask, now is the time. Just having a quick look. Don't think there is any. I think that's it. Okay. Yeah, and of course, external validation is also nice. That's why we share, different messages, and it's kind of a confirmation. Or, sometimes we can't verbalize things or really put them into context. Like I sometimes need a few days to, especially last few days, so much multidimensional information coming in. You had to process it and really just sit with it before you can make a full sense of what's really going on. Okay, so other people sharing, of course, gives us sometimes more insight. Everybody has a different piece to the bigger puzzle. What I see, someone else can't see, or what someone else see, I can't see. So, there's a purpose to it, but that shouldn't be the deciding factor of you believing what you're seeing or not. You need to believe, like you believing in what you're seeing and what you know is the key to unlocking your memories. Because it's you reclaiming your power of you knowing, because we're literally here to return the wisdom and the history records of humanity to humanity. And it's really cosmic, all right, and to ourselves as well. But this can only happen if we're really, I don't even know what I was saying. And it's gone again. It's hilarious. All right. Yeah, this reality is not conducive to any spiritual growth and development. But then again, ultimately, it actually is, because suffering, okay, is the pathway in a way to enlightenment until it's no longer necessary. We definitely have gotten to a point where I'm like, okay, I'm really done with the difficult experiences and all this heartbreak. I don't need this anymore. But that really happens only once you have fully healed your heart. That's what we're here for today. Yeah, because I know that I needed it. I've had so much going on that although I understand it all, there's still some energetic healing that needs to happen, because again, this goes right back to the start in our core wounds that need to heal, and that's the collective wounds. All right, what's mine is also collective, and vice versa. It's ours. So it is conducive for spiritual growth and development, ultimately. But then when you're saying, I'm just reading a comment here, saying, this reality is not conducive to my spiritual growth and development. It makes sense why I can't seem to move forward within social and financial spheres, often find myself isolated and alone. Yeah, but financial and social spheres are not quite the same as spiritual growth and development, if you get me. Because actually in the aloneness, it's all oneness. That's where we really are unifying with one. Believe me, today and the last few days, oh my God, I felt so alone. And I am a good person with being on my own. But just feeling like literally nobody gets me, and there's just no support immediately around me. Like, I'm getting more support from you people online, and thank you very much. Although I haven't met you, a lot of you, thank you so much for your support in many different ways. Otherwise, I don't know how I would have survived this. And that's why, we're doing this together. Literally, you are helping me, I'm helping you. This is how this all works, okay, in many different ways. So again, I would say to that, the difficulties are actually helping your spiritual growth and development, which is being triggered by the financial and social issues. All right? Because the old way of socializing, the usual hypocritical part to it, or how we often then can't relate to people in our environment, or old ways, old things and stories. But it's like, that's an old part of you that you have to let go, and we're constantly, kind of expanding and transcending. And a big lesson of all of this is that nothing is forever. The whole attachment to anything being permanent is what's causing the suffering, as Buddha said. It's our attachment to form, literally, that's causing the suffering. So just be aware of that part, because again, we could say having your heart broken is not going to help you heal your heart, but it actually is. Because everything is both empty, everything exists within a paradox. So although it feels like it's actually hurting you more, it is offering you the opportunity to heal that more, to transcend the old programming, if that makes sense. Yeah. And really within the aloneness, you feel the oneness. Because the thing is, when you get to the oneness, to the stage, you understand there's actually really just one of us here. That's the funny part. So you do feel fully alone. And this is literally why Source has multiplied itself in many different enormous fractals. Because it didn't want to be alone. But then you obviously have the problem through the fragmentation that everybody feels alone within the fragmentation. So that's what we're really healing now, where we're fully sovereign in our own self. We have integrated all those other fractals within a oneness, but we see everybody as an extension of us. But there's still this, okay, but I'm also my sovereign person. Okay, so it's both ends. And again, that's the hard thing for a lot of people to understand. What I think is either this or that, it's either good or bad. No, it's actually always both the same. So anything bad, any difficulty, any negative or challenging experience always offers us the greatest growth. So like the last couple of weeks, oh my God, beyond challenging, I felt so alone and unsupported. But that had to happen in order for me to fully heal that. The same for the heart. We need to literally have it broken open in order to heal it. Okay, but you need to obviously know what you're doing. You need to be conscious of that journey. Otherwise, like, you get stuck in heartbreak, because you're believing the old bad programming that says, I don't know, when somebody leaves you, that it's about you and you're not worthy of love and there's something wrong with me and whatever, instead of understanding that it wasn't meant supposed to work out. And whatever they're doing is about them. If it triggers me, then that's for me to sort out, if you understand what I mean. That doesn't mean that you shouldn't feel anything, okay? But it would not draw you into a pit of despair where you're going to close yourself off for love for a very long time, if that makes sense. Although, again, whilst we heal, we do protect ourselves a lot, okay? And you do need that space, especially again lately, where all of this is going on. Keeping your space, holding your space and keeping it safe or sovereign really helps you to heal, because you can't have these constant attacks coming in whilst you're trying to heal, ultimately, okay? But then once it's healed, it's like none of these attacks that wouldn't, first of all, come in anymore, because they're not necessary to open your heart and teach you the lesson. But you would also, even if it happens, you would be like, who are you even talking to? Because you're not attached to your identity and to your form anymore, which is causing you the suffering. It's your attachment to your identity that's ultimately causing you the suffering, the attachment to the story. But again, in order to transcend it, release it, you have to go into and feel it without kind of claiming ownership and keeping hold of the story. Okay, you need to let it go, but you need to let it come up and out. I hope that makes sense. All right. Now, I would say we're going to do the activation, and nothing is forever, is very, very important for us. That's how we don't attach to anything, especially now with the multiverse, the organic creatrix field. It's very much like you can manifest and dissolve your creations. Again, that is all in alignment with the law of one. Okay, this is not coming from ego will, but I'm just saying things are very much more easily being created and dissolved. Okay, and nothing is supposed to be permanent. That's just not the nature of the multiverse. Absolutely not. And I mean, we're done, peeps. I think most of us can feel can feel it in their bones, the massive transformation that has happened and how much has shifted within us. And even if, like me, you might have not felt so many shifts in the physical reality as such, as in the material part of it, just know that this is part of the artificial holographic overlay that has to come fully down for all this magic manifestation stuff to really take off, because it's also connected obviously to our DNA activation. And that again is also connected to our heart and the multidimensional integration of our higher identities, which we're now literally at the point of where, again, we do activate these different strands. And at some moments in time, we might have 7, 8, 9, 12 strands, whatever, activated, but you don't stay there all the time. Okay. So when you're in meditation or doing an activation, you might have that happening. And that's how we keep activating them. Okay. But they're not all the time fully online, which is where we're going to, where all of our gifts and abilities and all the memories just come flooding in. And it's very much all interconnected, again, with the heart and healing our light body and all of that jazz. All right. Now, we're going to do the activation. I don't think there's any questions. Yeah, the wound is where the light enters you. That's the Rumi quote. One of my favorites. Or you have to keep breaking your heart until it opens. And it also says you have to keep breaking your heart. All right? Because ultimately there would be no heartbreak once you really understand that it's not about you. All right? If somebody, for example, breaks up with you, you just need to, sort out your part. But in New Earth, you do not have that attachment to people, places, things, matter world. Again, it's flowing and nothing is forever. Let's just say, when you are eternal, do you always want to be with that one person? Probably not. That's why, maybe yes, maybe not, but you get me what I mean. As in, you want to make different experiences, and time is not what we think it is. So the way we look at the world right now is 3D, it's compartmentalized, it's very much limited within that framework, okay, of that thinking, which is literally based in fear and attachment and ego identity, which is the artificial program that is running the matrix. That's why transcending our ego identity, not that you lose like your sense of identity, but your artificial ego, which is really an artificial algorithm. Okay, it's not your true self at all. So Ascension is really us transcending all of that, and through that you really get to know yourself better. And once you know thyself truly, you do know yourself as God. And that's how you then also have no other people's projections hurt you anymore or rattle you. You know who you are, okay? And you also understand where other people are coming from. And this gets rid of all the problems, really. And that's how we're not having hearts broken anymore, because that really has happened through a false sense of perception, but also obviously a lot of trauma and people, perpetuating their pain by causing other people pain. All right. It's obviously many things, but once we have healed it all, the mind and the heart, those problems just will not be there anymore, because they come from an inverted mindset, from inversions within a consciousness. Okay. That is a miscommunication between the heart and the mind. And as we're unifying that now, and then become harmony and balance, divine union within, the heart agrees with the mind and vice versa, and it's one unified field. Okay, and it's also the right and the left brain, pineal and pituitary, higher and lower self, heaven and earth. All right, unified as one organic creatrix field. Okay, beautiful. All right, now 1 minute, and then we start the activation. So if you want to, you can get yourself headphones maybe, and I'm also going to get, I'm going to record this separately because that's often a better sound quality later on, just in case the sound goes a little bit in and out through the Zoom. You can later on listen to it in the download link, which I will also add to SoundCloud later on, okay, for easier access. Okay, so just get yourself comfortable, whatever you need to do, and we start in 1 minute, which is at mine 444. Oh, one second. Okay, now 444. Let us, what I do is I close my eyes usually because it's more like a, sort of I have a, an idea of what's obviously going to happen, but ultimately what's being transmitted is like sort of an automatic meditative state I'm in, and I just kind of let it come through me. So I close my eyes. You can do the same. You can lie down, sit down, whatever is most relaxing for you, really. And headphones sometimes help. I'm going to record this separately as well. Easier access. Just get this up. Okay. Now, if you just want to relax your body, center yourself, and take a couple of breaths. Just letting go of any tension, any stress, any worries. Just breathing in love. Breathing out any anxiety, any tension, any stress, thoughts. Let it all go. Become empty, silent, and deeply rooted in your heart, your sacred crystal and emerald heart, which is your source within, and it's your connection to the higher dimensional layers, frequencies, realities, all anchoring through our heart in this now moment, through our time and space, as we are unifying all of ourselves, all of our identities as one consciousness, unified and healed in this now moment. We call all of ourselves back to us, all of our soul fragments, soul pieces, unified and healed. Finally, it's safe to come home. Home into your heart, the source within. Na na ya na 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 na. Ku ya na te. Na. Na 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 na. So ya na na ne. As we focus on our heart center, we take a breath in and hold it there and imagine a beautiful diamond rainbow plasma light bubble going brighter and brighter, bigger and bigger. And with the next breath out, you blow it out all around your energy field like a big bubble of crystalline rainbow light. This is also activating your aurora orb bubble, travel vehicle, activating now my Kava light body, spinning at the perfect frequency, velocity, spin rate, geometrical alignment. The divine rod and staff codes, vertical and horizontal alignment, fully corrected, upgraded, activated. So ushkanate na uiya kukukua ina na 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 nusuna ina te ake uma esena ke ake kukuna shatara sukuna te ake ke ata na 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 esuna te ake kakanata shukunata. We purify, clear, heal, balance, harmonize, upgrade to the highest divine blueprint available in this now moment. A whole morphogenetic field to the highest divine blueprint in this now. Esusha yanake yakeke tanata nasana yanake. Releasing any density back to source. Clear, remove, release, dissolve, override, neutralize any lower negative, artificial frequencies, energies, entities, vibrations, sound and light fields, tones. Limiting, negative thought forms, behaviors, belief systems, all dissolving in our field now, in the collective field. Return to source for re-encryption. May all our thoughts, behaviors, belief systems, actions be based in pure divine love, peace, joy, harmony, balance, equality, abundance, serenity, perfect health, unity. Sunanana she na na ina te une ai ai nai ake uye ai ne na ne une senake unayana ne ane tenanani ananasu yane ane 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 unate ashe na ye ye Now focus on the aurora orb bubble body around you. Beautiful, beautiful sphere of light, iridescent plasma rainbow light. And with the next breath, we travel in this down to the crystalline core of Earth. With the next breath, pull yourself down to the crystalline core of the Earth. Till you feel you have arrived there. Connect to the crystalline core in the heart of Earth. Connecting throughout all the dimensional layers and levels. All the way back to Ascension Earth, Tara and Gaia. Unifying all as one. Organic creatrix experience. Sushikai e natarata e natarase. Unana inake. Kanina teate. Asuna inane ai 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 ai. E a na una ina 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 e. Now, with the next breath, they're going to travel all the way back up, connecting through the stargates all the way back to source. And we connect to the sun, central sun, great central sun, galactic center, the heart of Andromeda. Connect with the heart of Andromeda. Sense the spiraling arms of the galaxy all around you. Yena sharate ate kokuna inai inanane umana tenana. And now we travel through the aurora host, 7 higher heavens, back to Ascension Earth, Aramatena, the Lion Stargate. Activate, open, ignite. Esushura, enake, esukure, hinana, na 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 na, yananate, hinasura, ke inate rase, hinatushe, hinaeate. Ere, hinatara shu unana ne ake ake. Na 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 ne, na na tu ya na ya ne 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 ne, ia na te na se na e. Tukuta a e ina ke ra shukuku na te ake 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 ake. Connect with your diamond avatar blueprint. E ena a ashu se ena ke ate ake 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 ana ai 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 ena ne ena su na na ena 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 tu ena satarasa. And now we travel through the primal sound and light fields, Sophia, consciousness, the Trinity unified as one, non-dimensionalized fields of cosmic consciousness. Tuka ashkanate e atarataye anatasa shukunate ate 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 ananaye naye naye ananasunate ananashunaye ananake ate 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 nayu naye 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 ayuna se aye ananaye amenate anutunaye. Retrieving our corrected dark matter body template, Rasha body. Fully dissolving any dark matter abbreviation. Sukina se sha kakarata kinasete ate ate kotata unayinate sutaya. And now we return to source, the Godhead, the heart and mind of God, pure consciousness. Sushira kinateate naye Unaina sirane, unaina te unayane, ena kena shana, na na na, tu kena sea shekera, kena kea te ate. Dissolving any remaining interference patterns, air materials, anything that's artificial, inorganic, false, lower coding, density, Maya's, the old blueprint fully released with source, fully returning to our original divine blueprints plus upgrades, our original innocence, the original seed point of creation. Tukena shara, ayanakiyake, kanasukanata, aye, anata, ananaye, naye, naye, iya, tukinatea, ayunatara, shakarate, kinakina sataraya, umananaye, yake, yake, sukeana, stodaya. Releasing the past, all that was, back to source, all that doesn't serve us no more, we let it go fully now. Sukarasha, te na kea te 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 te. Now, with the next breath, we're going to travel back through Andromeda and the Andromedan passageway to Giza. From Giza into the core of the earth. Andromedan passageway, connecting to Giza, pyramids, the heart grid network, emerald grid network. Now, diamond grids, activate, ignite. Sushuna dea gena saya. EU. See a powerful emerald ray all the way back from source in the God worlds, through the passageway, entering the Giza plateau, through your own heart, through your own body, into the grids, into the core. So it is. Isukata shatha ya 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 natara iuna. Inananani inananana. Inasinaye inatuye anaye. Onanayane utiyate ananana. See yourself standing within the Great Pyramid of Giza, in the Queen's Chamber. Just you here. See yourself going into the sarcophagus, lying down, Ishakarasata neyakeata. Mananana ya shu ya 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 ya. Enusunata enae toyanana saye ananae ananatu anate tukushukutara yenakera satara 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 satara. Feel this massive column of light, diamond white light and emerald light all around the pyramids, connecting you all the way from source, through Andromeda, the passageway, through Giza, connecting to the emerald grid, diamond grid. Activate, ignite within the planetary grid and within our bodies now. Activating the emerald heart. Activate, open, Ark of the Covenant, passageway. Ushunateya sekena tararata. Mananata. Shukanatara. Eananana. Mananana. Purify, clear, heal, balance, harmonize, upgrade to the highest divine blueprint available in this now moment. Every cell, every atom, every atomic and subatomic particle and wave, and all the spaces in between, right down to mitochondria. Activate now multidimensional DNA, 72 strands, triple helix DNA, triple diamond sun body, in alignment with each one's own unique blueprint, absolute ease and grace. DNA, RNA, quantum time codes. Activate fully now. Sushu natara sakara satara 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 sadeyo. Na na. Nia na 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 na. Ini atua. Na 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 na. Ushunate ake ake ake. Se nata. Anaye nate ate 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 ate. The divine template of the 144 plus 3 as 1. Na. Hey. Anananananananananananananana. Tuya. Ena ena ya 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 ya. Activating the crystalline structures within our blood, bones, fascia, skin. Meridians, nadis, axial tonal line, chakras, purify, clear, heal, balance, harmonize, upgrade to the highest dimensional expression now. Systems, organs, upgrade to the highest multidimensional expression. Activate in the planetary brain. Activate new neural pathways. Firing photons in our brains, connecting new neural pathways, awakening a higher consciousness. Uka a e a uka adaskat aikana te e kana askara e anata askara e nakara eskana ta ana tu a aina isko aira aka apoda tu a emate isko askara e is tara 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 tara. Connecting to the heart grid. Emerald heart grid, the planetary diamond grid, connecting to the cosmic heart. Interdimensional emerald heart grid activates. New telepathic organic communication system fully ignited, active. Shukuna seteta asaya anane anatuna anase anaya Anatuya na 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 yunateasi. Anuya yerasha. Une. Aya. Ane 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 ana. Umana. Kesute ane ake. Anu ane na. E. Ha. Na. Ta. Feel your heart awakening, opening, activating, wider and wider. Releasing any sorrow, any grief, any sadness and loss, once and for all. Maybe be shown the higher perspective of all things, the higher consciousness, embodying cosmic consciousness. Now, through us, anchoring this into the grids, stabilize, anchor, lock, and seal. Ushuka satane, inananuna, anuna iya 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 iya, ana ina tea shukuna tea. Lifting any energies of betrayal, shame, guilt, blame, feelings of lack, not feeling worthy, feeling unloved, healing the wounds of abandonment and separation and loneliness. Understanding all is indeed one, and all is always co-created as one. Fully transcending any remaining victim and victimizer energies, scripts, programs, conditioning, any and all inverted, limiting, false thought forms and belief systems. Now, once and for all, back to source. So it is done. Shusunatea ke kina satarata e sunatita ke e you shuta inanena aransarata ke anatea ke ne atuye anina e ananatara shuna e anananuna ane anuna se ayana eku unaya o tatayana kasayana sistayana lana sara tananteye ana See a beautiful diamond Merkabas in your third eye, heart center, and around your body. Igniting, spinning faster and faster. Beautiful diamond white platinum light. Sparkling rainbow iridescent light. Unanana shashe, shashuna teke, aya na 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 ye. See this massive beam of emerald light going through the pyramid, through the sarcophagus, all around it, into the core of the earth. Anashayayane Aui Ena Sui Ayenate Uyanakayasha Ananaye Ata. Fully dissolving the black magic grids. Now, Isukana Seate, the AI net, magnetic field, and ozone layer, all in alignment with divine will. Usuna Shina Kina Satara 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 Satara. Oana ea sara ea kara sea nea 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 nea. Connecting to the diamond platinum grid network, clearing out any remaining reversals, AI interference, implants, inserts, nanobots, nanodust, graphene black goo, throughout our and the planetary systems and all that is across all time and space. Now, Shukuna Seatea Keanatara Saye. Ashukuna Sete. Fully retrieving our original divine source codes, divine blueprints, perfect proton seed. Yeah. Retrieving all of our keys and codes, our quantum, fully merging with our already ascended diamond avatar crystalline self. So it is done. Shuye. Fully dissolving the artificial matrix simulation overlays. Activate. So it is done. Ekanasaye. Nakenasarasa shunaye ake. Healing and clearing and opening our hearts ever wider and wider, especially the back of the heart where a lot of the betrayal is held. That's hindering us from receiving fully, magnetizing all that we need, all of the resources we require to us now in quantum no time. Ena say ya nate ake. Oh ya na. Activating the Ascension keys and codes, divine union, bliss. Identity parties and codes, holy grail codes. Trinity codes, activate. Holy chalice configurations, activate. So Tera Shukara Gayayanata Munanaya Shete Enanasuna Teake. Activate now our gifts and abilities to the highest level in this now moment. Clairvoyance, claircognizance, clairsentience, clairaudience, teleportation, bilocation, multiple location, levitation, manifestation, healing, telekinesis, all and any of our gifts and abilities now fully activated, relevant for each divine blueprint now. Sushushuta. Kikena ye. Uta. Kia. Ukia ye. Ya. Unate. Calling all of our multidimensional selves back to us, fully unified and healed, all of our soul fragments, soul aspects, high identities, merging and unifying as one with our soul, oversoul, avatar, Rishi, one pure true God source consciousness, Sophia consciousness, the cosmic consciousness, the cosmic heart, and I am one with all of life everywhere. Shea. Fully healing all remaining wounds and walls and harnesses around the heart, any remaining density, myosins, implants, insert, anything and all that's not part of our original divine blueprints plus upgrades now. Sushuya na yake na yene. Aya kuea anate ai ananaso na yake karate sho na ne muka aya ua a eane kekeata unana se ayaya. Connecting to the core once again, from there through the grids, connecting to all the grids, sacred sites, Q sites, arc sites, stargates, trinity gates, organic ascension vortexes, power points, ancient sites, ancient solar temples, ascension gateways, open, solar temples, pyramids, crystal pyramids, ignite, activate, connect. Activating the diamond grid network. Crystalline diamond grid throughout the dimensions. Crystalline beds, crystalline core, crystalline caverns. Diamond mines, platinum grid network, Mia's Grayers, Lake Titicaca, Easter Island, Roslyn Chapel, Stonehenge, Giza, Uluru. Unasataye. Activating the Sundance network, interdimensional Stargate system, wide open, connect, activate, anchor lock and seal. Ikina sekina sakara saka. Usususususususususususuksha aeya anakaraza eyanakeyake karashukunakirate anasaka aya kenakeyake uso ara numaneyake ushonateyake. See your central column widening like a big pillar of white light within your center, going through around your spine. Brighter and brighter and wider, connecting you all the way from source back to the crystalline core of earth. Through your heart. Unasana sana. Kikikinata ashkana kikikinakara sakara 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 sakara. As we're fully healing our heart now, that of the Holy Mother. Fully igniting the cosmic heart within and without, throughout the grids, interdimensional Stargate system. So it is done. We na 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 sha yaki yaki yaki. Yani hey na 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 si yani yaki. Unify, merge as one. Right and left brain hemispheres, pineal and pituitary glands, heart and mind, masculine and feminine, heaven and earth. Within our hearts now. So yo yo na. Oshanate. Kera. Una. Sukunase. Feel into your heart, which is your personal source center. Where we radiate out from, filling our field with pure, divine, crystalline diamond light. Filling our whole morphogenetic field with pure, true source love. All unified as one, creative experience, creatrix, field, the quantum. All of the cosmos, all there, right inside of your own morphogenetic field, projected out from inside your heart, with the DNA being your film strip. Ukena karasa, anananiake, ananatuna sinake yaye. Letting go of any remaining density, miasms, limited thought forms, belief systems, program that are no longer relevant here. Uyaye, ananayake, ananasunaye. Activating the aquifers and waters, purify, clear, heal, balance, harmonize, upgrade, the highest divine blueprints throughout the planet. The elementals, elemental command, fire, earth crystal, water, air, ether. Activating the crystalline cities, crystalline technologies, crystalline network within and without. So it is. Esun. The crystal cathedral network. Ignite, activate. Usunatea geya sha. Ka aye. Tonasea kea. Ae na 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 e. Tonae na e. Una na e. We request full sovereignty over our energetic fields, retrieving all of our memories, tribal history records, abundance and freedom to humanity and all life everywhere. So it is. It is done. Sushuna sara se aki 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 aki. Dissolving any remaining illusions, delusions, inversions within the consciousness, false projections, holographic inserts, implants, overlays. Yeah. Now, one more time, we anchor, beautiful pillar of diamond white light from source through the interdimensional Stargate system, Andromeda passageways, through GIZA, into the diamond grid and into the core of Earth, completing the pole shift and triggering the event now. Sushunatea kea 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 asaya. Tanatea kea kea. Sushunatea kea kea ya. Remembering, it's simply a matter of remembering our true self and organic ascension realities. Now, as we awaken from the dream within a dream within a dream, to dream all new worlds into being within the one true organic creatrix field, available and accessible now. Kukunasa, Isanate, Eya, Karasata, Kushanata, Deakeake. It's done and it's done and it's done. So it is. Kene, Shaya, Kayaka, Tatarata. Now we come fully back into our bodies, all of ourselves. Calling all of yourself back to you, fully present in the here and now, fully embodied. All of your multidimensional self, unified as one. Beautiful diamond avatar crystalline self. Fully ignited and activated now, along with the diamond grid and new earth organic ascension realities. So as it is spoken, so it is done. So as it is spoken, so it is done. So as it is spoken, so it is done. Isanagea sha dayakiaki darata. Retrieving all of our quantum, all of ourselves fully healed, unified as one, the Holy Trinity within the oneness. So it is. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Now, spread your hands and toes if you're not fully back in your body. Need to try and see now. I hope you enjoyed that. I know it was a bit long, but again, it's just, first of all, we don't do time. And it is what it is. That's what wanted to come through. I hope you enjoyed this. Let that anchor a very high frequency. And that was a fly. Allow it to integrate over the next few days. Take it easy, drop into timelessness, drink plenty of water. Earthing, as in just nature, is beautiful. Obviously, we're trying to connect with organic ascension realities. And know it is done. It is done, it is done, it is done. It is so. Any moment now, the holographic overlays fully dissolve. All right, it's well overdue. If anyone would like to give a donation, I very much appreciate this, because that's all I have as an income. So I need your support as well as I'm giving it to you, if it's possible. I very much appreciate that. Thank you so, so much for being here now, for doing the work. Just be your true self. That really is the basis for everything. Everything else comes from there. Get to know yourself. Sit with yourself. Become your very best friend, your biggest fan, your biggest supporter. Okay, that's what it takes. Total, utter, radical self-love and just being your one true self. Okay, the one true self is the blueprint we all hold together, and then obviously we have a unique, fun expression for each one of us, each representing another fractal of the one, of source. Okay, and that's what we're unifying with now, fully transcending any remaining feelings and illusions and delusions of separation. Okay, within the oneness, within the sovereignty. It's the both ends. But you will know yourself more than you ever knew yourself before. Once you align with that, it's there now in the quantum, always accessible now. Keep connecting it with that, with your true self. And that's really you connecting with your diamond avatar self. Okay? And just keep calling in more light, keep clearing, just keep facing it all. It's really self-explanatory, and it really all arises from within now, the clarity of what's been not so going so well or so right, so to say. And we're here to correct the realities. So we do need to speak up. But yes, there are also times where we might just be quiet and think our own thing because it's not worth it. Okay. But the frequency of truth you hold in your field, it's beyond the words. It really is. Okay. And the truth is what cuts through all the BS. It dissolves the false artificial matrix. It's the frequency. And that's what we've been doing. All right. That's why all of that crap, the lies, manipulation, does not, and we're seeing through it with 360-degree vision. And it's a higher heart intelligence. I can feel my heart, wow, activating now. It's going to be interesting. Open up wide to receive, because this is the key. All right. Activating the permanent seed atom, higher heart. Ignite, ignite, open up, merge as one. Radiate it out. Okay. One more tip. In regards to protection, extra protection layer if you need it. I also put I think it's a dodecahedron. Oh my God, I always get these shapes wrong. Seriously. It's basically the diamond shape, but it's like a top pyramid, and then the pyramid going the other way. One sec. You know, it's like a diamond shape. One sec. Dodecahedron? I have it written down, so just give me a second. It's hilarious. Words, huh? Why can I not find that now? Okay, diamond shape, I can't find it now. Around your energy field, okay, so a top pyramid, then another pyramid, but it's obviously 3D, all right? And you imagine this around your field, and it's a diamond, again, plasma iridescent light, and it's very reflective. So it's mirrored on the outside, and you put in the command that any negative lower energies sent your way are going to be returned to sender tenfold, okay, or back to source, whatever is in highest alignment, all right? But no, that's very reflective. Just do it maybe in the morning, the evenings. If you feel you have still interference, you know, impacting your life. And what you can also do is do this in a massive way for where you live. So I've been doing this over the last few days just because it was a little bit intense last week. So it was really like a massive pyramid, and I do it 144,000 meters. up towards, into the air, and then down into the earth. Okay, so it's from both sides, so nothing can come in. Okay, invincible and impenetrable. All right, I think it's a dodecahedron. I don't know why I can't come up with that now. I hope you do understand what I'm saying, okay? And I mean that, and I hope it helps. So just keep doing the work, keep being yourself, do you unapologetically, and shine your light, okay? That's all it takes. Keep anchoring the light, keep being it, be the love, and it starts with you, okay? Being divine love doesn't mean we are just always love and light. It also means sometimes tough love, and it means saying no, and it sometimes also means, kind of to step away from people, at least for a while, until this is all fully sorted. Okay? All right. Thank you so much for being here now. Thank you for taking the time to listen to all of this. Thank you for doing the activation as well, because I know they're very powerful for you as well as for the collective, okay? Because we are affecting all the soul groups and the tribes we are connected with, all right? I know this work is really powerful. And again, you can listen to it later as well if you want to. Thank you so much for any PayPal donations. Thank you so much, Jenny, for your ongoing support, and everyone else. And obviously, this is not just about money, also your support and liking, sharing, subscribing, all of that, okay? And yeah, thank you so much. Loads of love, many blessings. Have a beautiful LIONSGATE 8-8. Abundance is here now. So it is. All new, organic, creatrix experiences, infinite, limitless. Sorry, there's now the rubbish has been taken out. How appropriate outside. And I've got the windows open. All right. I love you, Lois. Donation information is just underneath in the description box right at the end. And I'm gonna post it later on Facebook as well. So thank you so much for your support, if you can, in all ways and all kinds. And loads of love and blessings. Bye bye.